Back to Sound of Sirens. No Thomas today, just Michael and I. So we just got done watching the Prairie View game. We got a lot to talk about with a little bit with the bowl game, maybe the women's Cyhawk and the men's Cyhawk, and just kind of the status of things with basketball. So, what's your thoughts on you went to Memphis last time? As somebody that's been there before, what's your feelings on us going back?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a venue and city, it was fun. It's drivable, which is nice. I feel like it's flying out of Iowa, as you know, isn't the easiest thing in the world. So a pretty easy trip you can do in one day is nice. I think that'll help more fans go. Everyone's complaining about playing in Memphis again, which I get, but also it will be one of the better non-playoff bowl environments, just because last time it was literally 50-50 down the middle.
Yeah.
Which was fun. The weather will be probably okay, not great. But I mean, there's way worse venues. I think it's for this team, they deserve a big crowd. And the other thing is too, Memphis is not bad. They hung with Missouri, who's really good, who hung with Georgia. So I think it'll be a good game. And in this new era where bowl games, quote unquote, don't mean anything, I think it'll be fun. I think especially for our kids, ending the year on a win with 8 wins will just totally catapult us into the offseason. And a lot of these young kids just winning a bowl game, I think we'll just get them more excited to get ready for next year, because I think next year could be special if we continue to hold on to all of our starters.
I think it's so hypocritical for people to say, I've heard many people say that the bowl games don't matter. Well, you can't say that the bowl games don't matter and then expect people to go. I mean, you're basically saying just come on vacation and then go to a football game. I mean, I totally disagree with the whole narrative of the bowl games don't matter. They don't matter in the sense to some of the kids because they're going to transfer or they're declaring for the draft. But for all the kids that work their tails off to get to this point, you're damn right it matters to them. I mean, and it should matter to everybody else. So I think it's a little disingenuous and also a little, demeaning to the players when you say, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general, because I've heard it a million times. When you say that the bowl games don't matter, so if bowl games don't matter, then why did the Kansas State game matter?
Yeah, no, it's true. The thing is, everyone says, I think you hit on the head. It doesn't matter because nowadays people sit out and transfer between the end of the season and now. Will Howard is gone. He transferred the day after Iowa State beat Kansas State. So
yeah,
their team is totally different. But for a team like Iowa State, who is keeping most of their starters, and it sounds like TJ Tampa might play, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's
going to be fun. And the thing is, too, say what you want, but 8 wins matters at Iowa State. So the chance to get 8 wins, that's more than Brock Purdy's senior year. I think it'll be fun, especially our kids are kind of young and they don't know any better. So I think they're going to treat it like any other game, and you get 3 weeks to prepare. You get to go to Memphis where there's good food. The barbecue is insane. I think it'll be fun.
A lot of live music. It must be a Tennessee thing, right? Nashville and Memphis are both known for their live music.
Yeah. So I think the fact it's drivable, I think it's a fun city. There are parts that are not safe. So if you're just be wary. Had a friend of mine get mugged.
That's not a good advertisement.
But I think Beale Street's really fun. The stadium, it's a nice tailgate setup. Memphis fans were really nice too. So I think it'll be fun. I think they're excited to have us back. So I think, and the thing is too, we get to watch one more football game. The football season flew by like it always does. And this team has just been so fun. They've totally out exceeded their expectations for the year, and we're so young. We played 24 or something true freshmen, which is crazy in Power 5 Big 12 football. And you look at the Texas game, we played Texas very tough. We made Texas very uncomfortable. They had to earn their win in Ames. We were probably the most physical team they saw all year, and we're only going to get more physical with our strength coach that came back, who did a great job. Ryan Clanton did an amazing job. I don't think the offensive line gets talked about enough. They grew so much. And we got a lot of young skill players that are going to continue to get better. Rocco is a freshman. If Brock Purdy never existed, we would be absolutely losing our minds about Rocco. I thought he did incredible. Big 12 freshman of the year. and the sky's the limit for him. He's a kind of a quiet kid, kind of like Brock was. Very consistent, very accurate. He's only going to get better. I think one thing too I'm excited to see is he kind of looks like a freshman. He's pretty skinny. I would say he puts on another 10, 15 pounds in the offseason. He'll be a little more of a threat to run next year. And I mean, I think the hype for next year is going to be real. And I think it's going to be legitimate because you look at the new Big 12 outside of Utah. I don't think anyone is probably more skilled than us. And Utah's going to have to find out what it's like to play a Big 12 physicality wise each and every week. Because the Big 12, I would say the Pac-12 obviously had one of their best years in many years this year, but they're not necessarily known for being physical. And I mean, you look at like Texas is just huge, but K-State hits hard. Kansas hits hard. Like it's just going to be a week in and week out thing. And our kids are ready. And you know how much people can improve freshman to sophomore year in college. I mean, a lot of these kids haven't had a Division I offseason yet, which I think our support staff was incredible. So,
yeah. The other thing is that we really haven't lost anybody to the portal that was shocking. I mean, no, it was no surprise that Greg Gaines left. I mean, hadn't seen the field yet, and we haven't anybody pop up all of a sudden that was kind of a surprise. So, that says a lot about, what Matt always talks about, culture. I mean, and it was on display last night too when Tyrese Halliburton is talking about Matt Campbell at the NBA press conference. He's talking about Brock Purdy and him and Matt Campbell used to have leadership meetings about books and everything. I mean, that was that interview, that clip is going to be played 1 million times by the athletic department, and it should be, because Tyrese just sat there and did a commercial for Iowa State for free, and it was pretty cool. But I agree with the Memphis thing. I mean, I think Memphis is a cool place. It's about a 10-hour drive from where we live, 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever, from Des Moines, and very drivable. And I've had very few people say anything but positive things about the last experience down there. So I'd be shocked if we had as many fans. I could be wrong, but I mean, I've heard, I think the big thing is the optics of playing Memphis again. I mean, if it was a run-of-the-mill SEC team or somebody like that, I think people would be excited about it. But Memphis is little, and that's not disparaging to Memphis at all. I mean, Memphis is a good team, but I mean,
I think it's going to be a good game though, because Memphis kids are going to play. You play a run-of-the-mill SEC schools, half their starters will be sitting out or have already transferred. So I think just if you're a purist that likes good football, it's going to be a great game. It'll probably be one of the better bowl games, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably will. Yeah.
So I think it's whatever. I think it's going to be a great environment. Everyone that can go should go. These kids deserve it. And gosh, I don't know. It's just if we look really good again, and it's just going to catapult a really fun offseason of hype. And I don't know. There's a lot of kids I'm really excited to see how much they grow next year.
I think it was funny. I was listening to the press conference when they announced it, and they had Pollard, and the press was on their course. But then the guy from the Liberty Bowl, and then Matt, and then the Liberty Bowl guy says to Pollard, he goes, "I know last time you warned us that we should have a certain type of beer here, and you guys actually ran us out of that beer. Do you want to talk about that again?" And Jamie refused to say the name Busch Light. He did not say what beer it was. So I don't know if he was, wants an endorsement from him or something. But he goes, "I know you don't want to pump but he never did say it." So it was kind of funny.
Yeah, no free advertising, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the Busch Light was gone before we got there, and we went the day or two before. So yeah, it'll be fun. I think people will not be disappointed. And I think the main thing is the kids deserve to have a good showing because, they had such a great year. So
yeah. Well, let's move on to the Cyhawk women's game. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it or not, but I mean, I thought we are so young. We got 5 freshmen that are, the center of it. And all of you people out there that wondered if Audie Crooks could make the transition from Class 1A basketball to Division I Power 5 ball can stop talking about that now, because she is playing very well for being 18 years old. And I've said from day one that she played a lot of big-time AAU basketball, and it showed. I mean, I know the people at her high school, and they searched out big schools in Minnesota because they're up closer to the Minnesota border to play last year, and hung with a couple of those teams. And so she's not just been playing, small schools her entire life, and man, she's played really well. And I thought she handled herself well at the Cyhawk game. You know, the Schulke girl did a flop, and and it was a really bad flop. And Audie didn't say anything, and then got hosed on the next call, the very next possession. But we took a lead there, late in the game, and then Iowa's so veteran, and they've got Caitlin Clark, which Caitlin Clark is hard not to is easy to not like when she's playing because she's so cocky. But she's a fantastic player. I mean,
yeah,
the only thing I didn't like is when she did the little man thing to Ariana Jackson, running on the floor. That was kind of BS, but whatever. We don't have to watch her play anymore if we don't want to. So
yeah, I mean, but I think you should. I mean, because she is growing the women's game exponentially.
Right.
The part of her game that obviously she shoots from deep and makes them. She doesn't shoot a great percentage, which I mean, she is their offense, so she just has to shoot a ton of shots.
Brent Bloom says she gets 40% of her. Brent Bloom says she gets 40% of her points from the free throw line.
Well, no, because she can get by anyone. She's a really good ball handler. She's really quick, and that was the part down the stretch that we just couldn't stay in front of her, and then she would hit someone for an open shot, or she would hit. I mean, her mid range game is also really good, and yeah, no, she is everything that's advertised. But gosh, it would have been cool to send her out of Ames with a loss, and they
that would have been awesome.
Fought so hard. And I mean, the thing is, if Audie Crooks gets the Caitlin Clark whistle, she probably shoots 10 more free throws.
Yeah,
but she was just getting hammered. But she is a freshman and just wasn't getting the calls. But she's also bigger than everyone, so like you'd have to like use quite a bit of force to make it look like she gets fouled. But yeah, she's really good, and she has really good feet. She's got really good hands. She's got really good touch. And I mean, if she can add a deep shot, because that pick and pop play that they ran for her, she let it go, and it looks really good. So
Finley told her to shoot it.
Great for sure. Yeah, and we're really young. We don't have our starting point guard either, which obviously isn't ideal. So it'll be a fun year. It'll be up and down. It'd be cool if they could sneak into the tournament. I don't know if they will, just because we're so young, and the Big 12 will be kind of a meat grinder again. But yeah, I think the future is definitely bright, and obviously Bill Fenley is one of the best coaches in the country that probably doesn't get enough recognition. But yeah, it was a fun game, and Iowa had to earn it. They didn't kind of just walk in there and blow the doors off, which I think probably some people were expecting them to. So I was really proud of.
Audie will get those calls eventually. I mean, when you're going against a team like Iowa, you're not going to get the calls that you probably should. But she's got great, like you said, I've said that all along. She's got great hands. She's a great free throw shooter. So she's just done everything we've asked her to do so far and more. And they said in the broadcast, she told Fenley before the year's over, I'm starting. And so, because he just said, kind of be patient. She's pretty confident. So, and I've seen her do that before. I've shared it on here before. I've been seeing her with some of her teammates in high school, and she's pretty competitive and kind of a no BS young lady. So, I'm super happy for her. But I'll tell you what, Fenley and those guys should go to work for the CIA, because nobody knows what's going on with Emily Ryan. I haven't heard anybody hear what her injury is. I saw a picture of her dressed out at practice, but she's yet to even warm up in a game. So I hope it's nothing major health-wise, because she is so much fun to watch, and she's so tough. And I'll never forget when Lexi transferred last year. I think it kind of pissed off Emily, or Superior too, because she put a thing on Twitter to reemphasize that she's staying. She goes, she said ride or die on her Twitter feed. And so I've always liked her. So I'm hoping we get the chance to see her again. So
yeah, and honestly,
speaking of injuries,
as the year winds down, she needs to get healthy, I think taking the year off, if it gets to that point, and if we're not going to make the tournament, just have her 100% healthy for next year, I think will be just a huge boost, just because these freshmen get a ton more experience and get to play a full Big 12 schedule. And then next year they'll light the world on fire. But yeah, I hope she's okay. Again, I haven't heard what's going on with her either, but yeah, definitely hope that nothing serious is going on and that she ends the year feeling better than she is now.
Yeah, so then we transition to the men's game. I mean, that was kind of a beatdown. I was in Iowa City last year, unfortunately, and watched the beatdown there. And then we turned around and do a beatdown with them. And I tell you what, it was a coming out party for a couple of our kids. They played really well, and the Hawkeyes just were kind of had deer in the headlights there for a while. I mean, Keyshawn was a man amongst boys and a lot of the game, and Robert Jones had a fantastic game too. So we just overwhelmed them, which is, I guess, the best way to say it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Keyshawn, when he is, I think he had a little lapse in confidence down in Orlando. He had a great game against VCU, obviously, but then after that was forcing things and was going against some longer guards, which I think bothered him. But I think Iowa had some longer guards on him too, and he's kind of using some different angles just to get shots off. But man, good luck staying in front of him for 40 minutes because that, and we'll talk about today too, but he did the Tim Hardaway crossover a couple times today. That was just left some people on skates, and he's a good free throw shooter too, which is, he's been a huge upgrade just because the last couple of years we could not get to the rim to save our life. And the thing is too, he's improving each game as a passer just because he's going to have people to kick it to, just because people are going to really close down on him quickly, especially in the Big 12 where there's a surplus of really good coaches. But yeah, it was from the jump. Iowa didn't belong. Their posts got taken to school. Trey and Robert were just way more physical than them.
Trey's not getting near enough run. I mean, Trey is just having a fantastic year. I mean, he is built like a defensive end. Is so good around the basket. I think we saw it a little today. He might be just trying to do a little too much every once in a while, but man, when he gets squared up underneath the hoop, I mean, he is tough to stop. Yeah,
no, he's going to be really valuable, and he's super experienced. So him and Rob, they just don't get too high, too low because they've been there, which is going to be really important, especially on the road in the Big 12. Yeah, he's kind of the unsung hero of the year, I think, and he deserves a ton of credit. Robert Jones, I think, not saying enough about him. Gosh, he has such a transformation, shooting 75% from the field, which is insane. I'd have to look and see what the Iowa State record is, but that would have to be up there if he ends anywhere near that clip. And yeah, I mean, you tell me we scored 90 with Milan scoring 9?
Yeah, we had 70 with 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, so I mean, we had
a drought, and it could have been well north of 100 points.
Yeah, the pace we're playing with is just it's very Hoiberg-esque, but gosh, defensively there are times when the other teams just kind of get they get so tired because you have to be so purposeful and you have to be like locked in at all times when you have the ball against us because our guards are really good at getting their hands on the ball, and our posts are too. Our posts are really good at reading helps ID, and just every pass is like really tough. And eventually people were down. There were stretches where Iowa, they couldn't even get a shot off because they were just turning it over.
Well, our 2 pass away defense is so good. I mean, every time how many times have we just intercepted a pass like a D-back in a football game? I mean, that's just purely from positioning. Also, scouting helps, but if you don't appreciate how good we are in defense, you're not watching the game because it is hard. I mean, and the thing that Pavlevsky's big negative everybody said was his defense. I have not seen him get beat off the dribble yet. I mean, and Bob Jones is guarding guards and they can't get by him. So that is purely coaching. They did not figure that out on their own. Our coaches have figured out a way to teach everybody to stay in front of each other. And Pavlevsky, comes in. He looks like he should be in Algebra 2 right now. He looks so young, but he is so tough. His coach at Wofford called him a tough as a rattlesnake. I mean, people think that, he's just kind of a role player. He was not a role player in Wofford. I mean, he had 22 at Texas A&M last year.
15 a game.
And he was like a 40% three-point shooter.
It's hard to keep him off the floor just because he does so many things well. He's a really good passer. He can get into the lane, and he always makes the right play. And like you said, he's a really good defender. He rebounds the ball pretty well. He had 5 rebounds against Iowa. So, yeah, I think I'm really happy he's kind of found his way into the rotation. But, yeah, we've yet to play our best basketball, but, gosh, the ceiling for this team is so high, especially when we get Hassan back. And the thing is, I'm not confident about 30% three-point shooter, and Milan's obviously been incredible.
Aren't you a little worried about Hassan, though?
I don't know. I'm
December 10th, and he's still in a boot.
I'm guessing he's going to be in a boot for a set amount of weeks. We just haven't got there yet, so I'm not that worried about him yet. And I would rather him be in a boot longer than have him healthy in February and March.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one thing too we haven't even talked about is Taman Lipsey.
Yeah.
I mean, last year I don't think he gets enough credit. Obviously, everyone talked about how he can't shoot, which is totally fixed. He had a step back 3 today, which he's been really, really good. He's also I just love the demeanor of our entire team is just kind of calm. Like even when things are going really well, like after the tip pass from Taman to Keshawn, like Hilton went nuts, but like no one was being too crazy. They were running around doing laps around. They just kind of, I don't know, they're just very businesslike, and I think that comes from TJ. TJ, you never really see him screaming at the refs, and that demeanor bodes well in March, just because things sometimes don't go your way, but when things are good, we're kind of the same as when things are bad. So I don't know. I think obviously it's very fun to beat Iowa by a lot, but I also don't think they're very good. So, and then
we'll find out at 3:30 today. They play Michigan today. So.
The coming out party for Curtis Jones. I mean,
yeah.
When he gets his feet set,
go back to that play you're talking about with Iowa. You know, when Keyshawn scored and then Taman at half court catches the ball on a steal and turns around and throws it immediately to Keyshawn. Keyshawn doesn't even take a dribble. He turns around, squares up, and hits a 3. I jumped up and said, I have seen so many plays in Hilton Coliseum, and there's some of them that are all-timers, like Fred Hoiberg's dunk against Oklahoma State, Tinsley falling down against Missouri and then, doing the Globetrotter thing and throwing it to Shirley. That is a top 5 play in Hilton Coliseum history because it was so tough. I mean, Taman is running the opposite direction, catches the ball in midair, turns and throws it to Keyshawn, and then everybody, you can hear the crowd kind of oohing a little bit as Keyshawn's squaring up, and then he splashes it. That was an all-time play. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, he stole it and passed it before his feet hit the ground.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then the thing is, like, you just like see Iowa's players just like put their heads up, like, okay, like let's just get out of here, because when things like that happen, there's just really nothing you can do. But yeah, it was a great environment. And the thing is, the environment's only going to get better, especially our first Big 12 home game is Houston, who's currently in the top 5. So
fortunately, it's during break. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But we always have. It seems like we always get
we beat Baylor last year. People will be there. Just the student section won't be what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's going to be a bigger environment than Houston's used to playing, because I mean, they've been good, but they don't play.
They're in the Final Four.
I know, but they don't. They're playing in a conference that they get a bunch of off games. They don't get an off game this year. Like, they're gonna have to go to Allen Fieldhouse. They're gonna have to go to Hilton. Like. And then whenever we come to Houston, like, it's not going to be easy. So they're going to get worn down more than I think they will. They're also really good.
They're really good. So is Oklahoma. We had Oklahoma before them.
Yeah, I know. And who also looks a lot better. But yeah, I think we get some tune-up games. I thought today we looked really good. Our defense, I mean, playing inferior opponents, our defense is just like, they can't handle it, which is really fun. But what I left today with Curtis Jones, just kind of getting some confidence about the right time. I don't really care the first half of the year. If you are cold, that's fine, but you need to make shots in March. And I think he's capable. He just needed to shoot under control and with a little confidence, which he got today. And the thing is too, when he catch and shoot, he's much better than off the dribble where he's forcing things. Yeah. I didn't think he forced a single one today. So I think if he just plays with it himself and just kind of takes the shots that are given to him, especially because he's going to have opportunities with the way that Taman and Keshawn can get to the basket. Another shooter would be super helpful. And I think Jackson too has shown flashes. He just doesn't look like he's seeking his shot, which hopefully by the end of the year he is. I mean, really the only guy that seeks his shot from the outside is Milan, which can't say enough about that kid. He is the real deal. So yeah, I was super happy with Curtis. The thing is too, Curtis is going to keep playing because he's also one of our best defenders. So I was super happy to see how him kind of show a little bit more. And the thing is too, he shot upper 30s from 3 last year, and he was shooting like 20 right now. So a lot of averages say he's going to start making shots. So hopefully today was a sign of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we scored 107 points today and only took 15 threes.
And turned it over like 24 times.
Yeah, 25 actually, and Keyshawn had 8 of them.
Oof.
So, but Curtis was 6 for 8. He was 6 for 6 to start off and missed his last 2. But here's a stat for you: we're 36 from 48 from the free throw line. We shot 48 flipping free throws.
Yeah, and we scored 55 in the second half. So I went back and looked last year where we didn't reach 55 in an entire game 6 times last year.
Wow.
So, we had 52 in the
Well,
first.
we're playing with a different pace. I mean, we're playing much faster. Like Thomas said, Fred, he's trying to play Fred's speed with TJ defense. I mean, that's kind of what's going on right now. And I think we're still kind of adjusting to it. I don't know I don't subscribe to the big stat boards or anything, so I don't know how many more possessions we're getting per game or anything, but it's got to be significant because we're just playing a lot faster pace than we have
for sure
in the past.
And I mean, free throw attempts per game is just up astronomically. We shot like 15 free throws a game last year. So, I mean, 48 free throws is insane. But that was also there was a time where we just took it to the basket every single possession, and they couldn't do anything about it. We're also sharing the ball really well. We had 18 assists again today, and the thing is, too, like I said earlier, we get hands on so many balls. We had 16 steals today. 8 were from Taman.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, Taman's had a dunk today, which was awesome. I wish that would have happened the other night against Iowa, but Taman's shooting 36.4% from the 3-point line right now, and that'll win us a lot of games in the Big 12.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to really complain about anything Taman does. He's been awesome.
But I mean, he had 5 turnovers against the Hawks. 2 of them were in the first 3.5 minutes. So he had 3 turnovers the rest of the game.
Yeah. So I think to kind of round things out, I think going forward, especially early in Big 12, playing someone like Houston, we're going to need length. And I think you look at Omaha or DeMarion, one of those guys is really going to have to step up. I still haven't quite figured out what we're doing there. DeMarion didn't play much today. Omaha played quite a bit and shows flashes where he's looking okay, but it looks like he's just thinking so hard. And I think once he figures it out where he can just kind of play, we'll kind of see what he can be. But the thing is, too, I mean, DeMarion is a really good defender, and he can really protect the rim. I remember last year he had a couple multi-block games, and we're going to need that against Houston, especially because they're really long. So I don't know. I know figuring out playing time is tough as a coach, especially, and obviously everyone's pointing at the McDonald's All-American, but I don't think anyone can say that they've watched Omaha play and say, hey, he needs to be playing more, just based how he's played, especially at how well Trey and Robert Jones are playing, and Hassan, honestly, when he was healthy. So,
well, I mean, playing our 4 guards is working. I mean, we had 4 guards on the floor at the same time. I mean, and people remember Cantrell Horton, Jamal Tinsley, and Jake Sullivan playing at the same time. So our 3-guard lineup looks pretty good right now.
Yeah,
I think it's a bigger factor in playing time than anything else. Is that Curtis, Jackson, Keyshawn, and Taman are all playing lights out right now, and they're and then so I think you're going to have Trey and Robert, obviously, and then DeMarion and Omaha are fighting to get in the rotation there. And then we've got the guards are interchangeable right now. I mean, how can you press us when you've got those 3 guys on the floor at the same time? I mean, Keyshawn can get to the rim anytime he wants. Curtis is showing that he can get to the middle of the lane pretty much anytime he wants. And Jackson has driven baseline from one corner to the other several times this year, gone all the way into the rim and found somebody as he's doing that. And so he knows he's not going to go up and throw one down, but he knows how to play basketball. And that's hard to teach. And I'm just so, I mean, Jackson is right now one of my favorite players because he really doesn't try to do anything that he can't. He'll throw a 3 in every once in a while, but he plays hard. He's, first time he scored, he'd start talking crap to somebody, and he's just got a hard-nosed way of playing, and I think he's just the prototypical. And Keyshawn and Curtis are the same way. I mean, they're playing super hard, but they're not talking probably as much crap as Jackson, to be honest with you. But they're just so level-headed, but tell you what, Keyshawn is the surprise. I mean, Keyshawn is playing so well right now that I just hope he can keep it rolling because he's going to shoot a ton of free throws when we get in the league.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been better than advertised, and he's only going to get better too. Because I mean, when he gets confidence, he has the skill where we haven't had a guard like that for a long time. Like we said earlier,
Oh.
very Curtis Stinson-esque as far as getting into the rim. And
Right.
when he goes up strong, he's really tough. There's sometimes where he kind of looks for contact, but if he just goes straight to the rim through the big guys, he's pretty good. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun last 3 games to tune up to kind of finalize a rotation, and then the Big 12, that's when it starts for real. So I think there'll be some ups and downs, but I think if we can string together some wins, we have a shot to potentially challenge for the league this year. Because I mean, I watched Kansas yesterday. They're good, but they're not. They don't have Joel Embiid and Andrew Wiggins. Like, they're definitely vulnerable, and I think Houston's going to find out what it's like to play. Essentially, I mean, tournament teams almost top to bottom in the league.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. So I've
watched Oklahoma play 3 times. I've watched Oklahoma play 3 times now, and that's a tough one to do on the road to start off with. But they don't scare me to the point where I say there's no way. I mean, Houston is really good.
You're going to make free throws. You're going to have to guard, which thing is our defense travels.
Yeah.
So we'll have a shot every night, I think. There'll be nights
where
we
don't have King McClure. When we go to that game, I just don't. When we go play out Oklahoma, please don't give us King McClure as a thing today. Do you know who Larry Morgan is? The guy calling the game today.
Yeah.
Larry Morgan has been around forever. I mean, he was in KGGO in Des Moines. People my age will remember him. He was a DJ for a classic rock station in Des Moines now, and then he ended up doing Drake games and everything. He was struggling today. At one point, he called it Iowa Smith because there was a Smith guy playing for Prairie View, and then he said when Taman went up for a shot, he said tipsy.
Yes.
I just started laughing out loud when he said that. He's a great guy. I think he would laugh at it too. But I would take Larry Morgan every day of the week over King McClure. I mean,
yeah, I totally agree.
And those both. It's also Homer guys too. I mean, they're Iowa guys that are calling the game for us.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun, but
no,
it's exciting. We should hopefully have 3 more tune-up games here, get everybody through it healthy, and no more surprises from the portal. So,
it's one of the best times of the year, and then March will be here before we know it. So it's just, and the thing is too with basketball, you don't have to wait that long. So just
right,
talk about the game for a couple of days, then we got another one. We get a week off now, which I think will be nice. Get finals behind us, and we just need to get Hassan healthy. Yeah, I think we play next Sunday, Florida A&M. Redemption.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got a 1-game losing streak against them, so hopefully we'll beat them by 50 like we did today. And yeah, I think this team's only going to grow, especially we have young kids that are going to be hopefully playing their best basketball in March. So I think, and when you have guards, you're going to have a chance to win in March. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are looking for anything for Christmas, soundthesirens.com. We've got plenty of stuff that we can ship out to you. If you order it, we can almost guarantee that we'll ship it the same day. We've got shirts, polos, hoodies, koozies. I think Thomas put our new window stickers in it. So if you're having a tough time trying to find something that's kind of unique for a Cyclone fan, support Thomas's venture here at soundthesirens.com, and we'll get it out to you right away. And hope everybody has a good week of finals. We need to make sure we get through that in one piece, one way or the other, and get ready to have a few more games. And then when is the bowl game? 29th?
29th, right? Friday.
29th. So
2:30.
yeah, we got a lot of Iowa State stuff going on the next few weeks. So you got anything else you want to say?
Go Cyclones.
All right, go Cyclones.